Nora's Story Episode 1 Part 3, Haunting Past. Things were great between Jenna and Nora for a while. Not perfect but real. The kind of good that makes you smile in pure happiness. It was easier than they had been lately. They no longer worried about what others thought. They just existed in each moment together. And maybe that's when bad things happen. When you finally exhale. When you let your guard down. Jenna's past came back into her life. A man she had dated before for 5 years. Until Jenna broke up with him. At first, it didn't feel like a threat. At least, not out loud. On the outside, Nora wasn't worried. She smiled. Nora said she understood. She told herself that she trusted Jenna. She hadn't given her a reason not to trust her. But inside, Nora felt it. Felt something off. Why is he here now? Why after so much time? His presence started growing more. More messages. More calls. More of him trying to slide back into spaces that weren't his anymore. And the thing that scared Nora the most wasn't him. It was how familiar Jenna still felt to him. As if she was still his. The way his presence changed the air in the room. Nora told herself that she was overthinking. She told herself that love meant being patient. But how patient should a person be? And that was until the night everything came to a head. Nora was staying over at Jenna's house. It was late. Quiet. One of those nights where nothing feels urgent. Until it does. Nora headed to take a shower, trying to calm her thoughts and stress. Then Jenna came in. Not saying anything, she just opened the curtain and stepped inside. A welcomed visitor Nora didn't know how much she needed. The feeling of Jenna's touch and warmth calmed Nora in a way the shower hadn't. And then the front door opened without Nora or Jenna knowing. No knocking. He just entered. At first, he called Jenna's name, but it went unheard over the shower that Nora and Jenna were enjoying. Then he stopped. Because he heard them in the shower. Nora's body felt completely relaxed and calm from Jenna's touch. Jenna was happy too. Present from her smile after stepping out of the shower. But Nora had an instinct. A feeling that told her something was wrong before anything was noticed. Nora and Jenna walked to the kitchen still in the moment from the shower. When they noticed things were moved on the table. And then Jenna's phone buzzed. A text. The way Jenna's face changed when she read it made Nora's heart stop. What does it say? Nora asked softly. Get her out of the house or I'll hurt her. That was the moment Nora knew that he was in the house while they were in the shower together. That was the moment everything changed. Nora told Jenna to call the cops. Not later. Not after we tried to talk it through with him. But right now. When the police arrived, Nora thought it would be the end of it. That once the threat was said out loud, something would be done. But the cops started asking questions. Who lives here? They asked Jenna. And that's when Nora's heart dropped. He was on the lease. From back when they were dating. And Nora wasn't. Nora was trying to understand how a threat could exist and still not be enough. And how everything had gone so wrong. When the cops told Nora that she would have to leave, it didn't feel real at first. It felt like they were talking to someone else. Nora wasn't even 18 yet and her mom was asleep, and she couldn't wake her up. She didn't want to explain everything in the middle of the night and knew she needed her sleep. Nora had nowhere to go. She stood outside, holding her phone, scrolling through names, trying to figure things out. And then she called the only person she knew would be awake. Carrie. She didn't even know what words to use. She just knew she couldn't be alone after everything. That night changed the way Nora understood love. Because love isn't staying when someone else's past puts your life in danger. Love isn't something you receive when you have to keep enduring. Love isn't being asked to disappear so someone else can feel comfortable. Nora learned that safety and love aren't something you negotiate. And peace isn't something that should require a high cost. And sometimes leaving isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself before someone else makes that choice for you. Nora walked outside with her bag after getting everything out of the house. And the door closed behind her. And that was it. Nora turned to look back one last time at the house. Then her head dropped and eyes lowered to the ground. Nora felt defeated. And with that, Nora grabbed her bike, beginning her journey. 40 minutes. That's how long the ride was. 40 minutes of cold air cutting through Nora's clothes. 40 minutes of her legs burning while her thoughts wouldn't slow down. Every street felt longer than the last. Every shadow felt heavier. Nora kept replaying the night in her head, the door opening, the message, being told to leave, the look on Jenna's face. She didn't cry. She didn't have the energy. All Nora could think about was, just get there. Just keep moving. By the time Nora reached Carrie's house, it was 3 a.m. The street was quiet. Too quiet. And then Nora texted Carrie. "I'm here." Carrie didn't ask questions. She didn't hesitate. She said that her family was asleep and told Nora to head around back so she could climb through Carrie's bedroom window. Nora didn't even think twice. She hid her bike out of sight and entered the window. The second Nora's feet hit the floor, everything she had been holding back finally caught up to her. Her body felt heavy. Her head felt foggy. Like she had been running on adrenaline for hours and suddenly there was nothing left. Nora hugged Carrie. Not a polite hug. Not a quick one. She hugged her like someone who had been holding themselves together with tape, and it was finally coming undone. Nora thanked Carrie, but the words felt too small for what she had just given her. She didn't say anything. Carrie just held her. Firm. Steady. Not too tight, but tight enough that Nora could feel it. That was the first moment in hours that Nora felt comfortable. Carrie watched Nora walk to the bed like she was making sure that she didn't disappear. Nora laid down on the bed without thinking. And then Carrie followed. At first, they didn't touch. They just existed in the same space, listening to the quiet and looking at the ceiling. Then Nora moved closer. Just a little bit, closing some of the distance between them. Nora laid on her side and placed her hand against Carrie's side, almost asking without words. Carrie answered by pulling Nora closer. Nora let her. Carrie pulled Nora into her chest, and with Nora's hand still on Carrie's side, she placed her head on the center of her chest. Like Nora already knew it belonged there. Nora could hear her heartbeat. Fast. Racing as if Carrie's heart was no longer under her control. Nora could feel the warmth of Carrie's arms around her. And for the first time that night, Nora's shoulders dropped. Her breathing slowed. All of the night's stress didn't disappear, but it loosened its grip. Nora remembers thinking, this is what safety and caring feels like. Not silent. Not distance. Presence. Before Nora knew it, her eyes wouldn't stay open anymore. Her body finally gave in to exhaustion. And as Nora drifted off, wrapped in Carrie's arms, the one who asked nothing from her except to stay, Nora slept. Not because the night was over, but because, for the moment, she was held. How will episode 1 end? Stay tuned for the conclusion in part 4. What happens with Jenna? What happens the next day with Carrie?